My dear children, come to me with thirsty hearts in this serene night, when silence allows you to hear the voice that whispers to your conscience. I want to speak to you about a reality that touches your souls deeply. Constancy in faith, that perseverance, that St. Paul recommends to you as the most precious gold you could possess. Too often, I see your spiritual lives oscillating like crazy pendulums, between moments of great enthusiasm and periods of deep discouragement, between promises made in fervor and vows forgotten in lukewarmness. Listen well. If your attitude in the faith you claim to profess alternates continuously, it is because God's love has not yet truly become incarnate in you. It is a sign that your faith still remains uncertain, feeble like a little flame that trembles at every breath of wind, when instead God desires it to be firm and deep like a rock that resists all the storms of life. See how it happens. Creatures ignite in religious enthusiasm during spiritual retreats, in solemn celebrations, in moments of particular grace. But then this fervor quickly decays when they return to daily routine, and they precipitate into discouragement and distrust as soon as they encounter the first difficulties. But true faith, the authentic one that I desire for you, keeps you firm even in the hardest trials, even in tears and the deepest crises, does not flee before difficulties, and does not reject God when everything seems to go wrong, but persists in its own belief with unshakable firmness. It is not the passing sentiment, the emotionality of the moment, the superficial exaltation that expresses and gives consistency to true faith, but its constancy in the daily struggle. An authentic faith must have a sign of its distinctive colors that clearly express the gospel lived, must in its participated wisdom become the salt of the earth, as I myself taught in my discourses. Think about when you eat food that is not salted. It completely loses its taste, becomes insipid and unpleasant. In the same way, a faith that does not give light to one's neighbor and does not offer concrete testimony, does not give flavor to life, because it is bland, insipid, extinguished, has lost its deepest meaning and its transforming value. But where can you take and assimilate this precious salt for your existence, if not in the divine teaching that I have left you? Here you can draw this wisdom, if not by praying with constancy and scrutinizing the sacred scriptures, particularly the Holy Gospel, to assimilate in you a knowledge that first gives salt to your soul, purifying and sanctifying it, so that you can then generously spread it to the neighbor who needs it. You must become light, my children, because only in a faith that radiates its love, that gives concrete proof of it in daily charity, attracts creatures who are in darkness, and who in the darkness of their existence rush to the light to be able to clothe themselves with it and find hope. But if you do not first radiate with the radiance of God's love, if you do not let this divine light penetrate and transform you, what light could you ever give to others? You cannot give what you do not truly possess. The testimony of faith cannot remain hidden and concealed in the secret of your heart, but must become a sun that gives warmth and luminosity to the extinguished hearts you meet every day. If you keep this light only for yourselves, if you hide it out of fear or laziness, it inevitably goes out, because faith is like fire that feeds itself by giving itself. Authentic faith must become like a city built on a mountain that everyone can see from afar, so that all can rush to it and find refuge in life storms. A city that by performing holy works in its daily testimony, transmits faith and offers to those who seek it the possibility of experiencing God's holiness. Always remember that faith is indeed a grace that comes from above, a free gift from the Father, but it is also a continuous struggle, a daily conquest. You must actively seek it and desire it with all your heart. No one is born holy by nature, but becomes holy through their choices, and can become so to the extent that they pray with constancy, without losing heart in difficulties, with unshakable trust, even when it seems that nothing is being realized and that God is not listening. You must have recourse to the sacraments in an assiduous and recurring way to sustain yourselves with their strength and divine grace, not remaining apathetic and passive, thinking that only God operates while you remain helpless. You too must do your part. Actively collaborate with grace. Engage your will and your energies in the path of sanctification, in the ladder of spiritual existence that you must climb to reach heaven. It takes a bold and courageous faith that climbs continuously without tiring of the fatigues of the journey. God sees the commitment you put in, the cost you pay, the sacrifice you make, and this gives profound meaning to your love. Even if you could not climb but always the same step, but persist for your entire life, making yourselves bold and hopeful, the Most Holy Father will credit it to your holiness. Unlike those who have not given it thought, and have not wanted to make the effort of any serious commitment, have not wanted to climb, and have remained on the ground in their spiritual nothingness. What matters is not the height reached, but the constancy in the attempt, the faithfulness in persevering, the love that moves every step you take upward. God measures holiness not by apparent results, but by the sincerity of commitment, by the purity of intention, by faithfulness over time. Even the smallest effort made with love is worth more than great gestures performed without constancy. I bless you with the blessing of perseverance. That wins every spiritual battle. I bless you so that you may find the strength to remain faithful, even when the road becomes difficult and the path seems to lead nowhere. I bless you so that your faith may become salt that gives flavor and light that illuminates, constant testimony of love that never fails. Your Jesus,